Hey guys, thanks for joining me. I just came out to my shop a little bit ago, and I picked up my Mora knife, made in Sweden with high carbon steel, and I took it out of the sheath. And I noticed there was all kinds of rust on it, and so it kind of disturbed me as much rust that was on there. Because it's been a while since I used it, and I wanted to get that rust off. So I'm just gonna show you how I clean up the knife and make sure it's sharp, and then coat it with some oil. So wanted to share that with you guys, and let's get started. So the first thing I wanted to do is going to be to take a Scotch-Brite pad and get off the rust as much as I can, and then anything that I can't get off with that, I'll go with either use a steel wool or a sandpaper, a fine grit sandpaper to bring back the finish on the knife, and then I'm gonna sharpen it up. Now, of course, you want to be careful messing with the knife because the knife is sharp. These Mora knives have a reputation of being very sharp once you sharpen them up. I don't know if they come from the factory very sharp, but once you get them sharp on your sharpening stone, they are very sharp, and you want to be careful messing with the edge of the knife there. Alrighty, so as you can see there, it got it looking pretty good there, and got off the rust pretty quickly there. So I'm going to see if I can get it looking a little better than that. They bring these knives up to a pretty nice shiny finish on them when they come new. I'm not really a fan of the super shiny finish. So yeah, they got that rust off pretty good, and still a little patina on it, but a little discoloration on it. I know everything that's rusty or aged now, of course, you call it patina. I guess if you're selling it, that's important. But these Mora knives are amazing, dude, especially for carving wood. So here I have my sharpening stone and a holder for my sharpening stone that I built for it. Now, a lot of guys go out and they get some really expensive stones. They got some really nice stones out there. I don't quite have that kind of cash to deal with. So this stone is just a sharpening stone from Harbor Freight, and it does pretty good. And until you know how to sharpen a knife and the do's and don'ts and what your basic knife stones are like, you're going to have no idea how much better the good stones are. So when you're learning and starting out, just start out with the cheap stuff and move up from there as you get into it, because maybe you'll find out you don't like something, or you're just not as into it as you thought you were, and so you can save yourself some money there without doing that. So I just bought that. What I did was I put a color, because I can never remember which side is the coarse and which side is the fine grit. So I put green for fine grit and red for coarse on the side there to help me out with that. And then I built this holder for it. I had some scrap pallet wood available to me, so I just took the pallet wood, just made it quick and dirty. You can see where I'd gotten the stone wet, and so kind of gives it some character. But I don't have to worry about it. It's not something super knife. It just is functional, and that's really all I care about. So. That fits in there nice and snug, and it holds the blade down or holds the stone, and allows you to secure that stone without getting your fingers in the way of the knife as you sharpen it. So So this is my strop board that I made. Had another piece of spare wood in the shop, and I had some spare leather. The leather I have and I use is actually from Hobby Lobby. You can pick up a bag of scrap leather pieces for like $5, $10, something like that, and it actually is useful for a lot of small projects. Especially when you're starting out learning how to use leather and work with leather. Of course, you can't, you're going to get all kinds of different grades and qualities of leather, and usable and unusable, but for little things and for things like this, that creates a wonderful little project for not a whole lot of money. So this is a strop board, and stropping a knife makes a world of difference in getting a finish on a knife and getting a knife nice and sharp. There's just no comparison between having a leather strop and not having a leather strop. So on this, I put two different types of leather, one of real rough leather and then one real fine leather. So you can see how sharp that is, and sharp enough for me for what I use it for. And the last thing I do is just take a little oil on a rag and wipe down the blade with it, and get that oiled up nicely, and to make sure everything on the blade is covered in oil, and let that dry, and that'll keep it from hopefully keep it from rusting in the future while I'm not using it. So probably have to do that every time I use it because it is a high carbon steel, and it will rust very easily. So thanks for joining me and let me share with you how I take care of my knife.